Unbroken promises. Have you ever broke any promises? Maybe. A few years back, a friend of mine asked me to cut some bass tracks for her new upcoming album. And I was delighted, so I said yes. But by the time we were in the studio, we were running a little short of tunes. So I offered to write something to fulfill the whole length of an album. And so I realized, wow, okay, you committed to this. This is a promise you cannot break. And that was the idea behind the whole song. Integrity has always been a big element, a big part of my life. So where is this integrity coming from? My grandmother. My grandmother was an Austrian matriarch, solid, strong, take no crap from nobody. And she raised me with all these virtues that sometimes can be mistaken for stubbornness or bad attitude, but actually she was a wonderful woman. And by the time I was 12, I had all those virtues rooted in me. So I said, wow, okay, this is a good opportunity to write something about it. And I had this melody in my head for a while. It kept coming back, bouncing around, so I couldn't shake it. So I grabbed the bass, noodling a little bit, trying to emulate whatever I have in my head, and I kind of like it, so I wrote it down. And that was the inspiration, and that was a good melody, but it needed a strong intro because you couldn't jump on that melody right away. It didn't make any sense to me. So I wanted to write something rhythmic, aggressive, potent. And I figured in my head, okay, I was picturing an army entering the battlefield with conviction. If my grandmother and my father were my childhood mentors, later on in life I had thank you. In my adulthood, I had a mentor that was very important to form my career, my musical shape. His name was Joel DeBartolo. He was the bass player for the Tonight Show band with Doc Severinsen and Johnny Carson. He was a wonderful, wonderful bass player. He also was the head of the bass department at Grove School of Music in Los Angeles. So that was one reason why I wanted to go to Los Angeles, because I knew about this school. But to enter the school, you had to pass an audition. So one morning, I went to his office, and when I saw him, it was, wow, my father, all over again. And I thought, okay, those two strong people, maybe they will help me, or they will hurt me, I don't know. So he said, okay, now you're here. This is my department. You do what I tell you to do, you work hard, otherwise I'll kick your ass out of the door. and so I did. I was there because that was my decision. I couldn't break that promise to myself. It was a commitment. So I said, yes, Joel, absolutely, teach me everything you know. So I enter the Grove School of Music, performance, jazz, bass. And the first month I was there, see, the Grove School of Music was organized in 4 quarters, not semesters. So you had fall quarter, winter, spring, and summer. I entered in September, which was obviously the fall quarter. And one thing that grabbed my attention was this ensemble that he was leading. He was the director of the Grove School of Music Jazz Big Band. Creme de la creme of young, upcoming players in Los Angeles. And I wanted to be in there. I promised myself, you got to get in there. And so I went to his office with great expectations. And I said, Joel, can you give me an audition for the jazz band? And he goes, no, you're not ready. Okay. You have to work harder. Okay. The first quarter passed, and then second quarter. So I thought, okay, 3 months has passed. I think I'm ready. Go to the office. Joel, I'm ready for the auditions. No, he's not ready. Okay. I was growing a little frustrated after the second quarter, third quarter. I was like, okay, now this is it. Go to the office. Joel, I'm ready for the audition. He said, no, you're not ready. So I thought, okay, I got one quarter to go. If you don't get that band by then, I'm done. So, very frustrated, went back the fourth quarter, and I said, Joel, can you please audition me for the band? And he said, you don't need an audition. Monday morning, 10 o'clock, don't be late. So, Monday morning, 10 o'clock, earlier actually, I was there like a little puppy wiggling the tail outside the door. And so I managed to get in, huge room, filled up with a lot of young musicians. And I thought, usually the big band only takes 18 musicians the most, right? Yeah, ish. And there were at least 40 people in that room, all playing great. I mean, they were amazing and very intimidating. I was the rookie, okay? So I was this close to just turn on my heels and go out of the door. But right there, I told myself, hey, you made a promise. You made a lot of sacrifice. You're here. You don't go anywhere. You stay here. So then I realized why we were so many in that room. Because Joel used to pick a couple of players here and there and just managed to shuffle them according to the style of music they were going to play or the difficulty level they were going to play. So all of a sudden, he goes, Stefano, you're up. He goes, okay. Get behind the music stand. He put the music in front of me. Never seen it in my life. Basically, it was an audition, sight reading. And he counted off. Boom. The whole band started. So right in the middle of that piece of music, there was a very tricky measure. It wasn't very, it was tough. And I fell. So he stopped the band. He goes, is there anything wrong with the music? And I was like, no, Joel, I'm sorry. I just made a mistake. And it's, please let me do it again. Okay. So second time, he counted off. Same spot. Bam. And I go, oh. And he goes, okay, what now? And I said, well, I'm so sorry. One more? Okay. So he goes, okay. He was really annoyed. He was getting really, he was like, okay, 1, 2, boom. Start again. I passed that point. And I was so happy, confident that he didn't see the next bump coming. Bam! And he goes, oh, he had it. He had it. He came over, he stormed over. He grabbed the bass out of my shoulder. He puts it on himself. He counted off. And they played perfectly. And then goes, here, that's how you do it. Come to see me in my office after the session. I was like, oh no. I did it. I blew it. So I went to the office, and I said, Joe, don't you think it was a little harsh in front of everybody? It was my first day. And he was like, you know why I did it? And I thought, but I didn't say, because you're an asshole? I didn't say it. And he said, no, I recognize a racing horse when I see one. You are one of my best bass players in this department. Don't let me down. Don't do that again. So, now I am on the other side of the desk. Around about 2008, the Ambrose University here in Calgary asked me to help them to write a curriculum and to build a jazz department. And so I did. And by the time the department grew bigger, we need more sessional players to teach. And that will give me a big opportunity to start tutoring and see how to build, not to destroy. I also do clinics, bass clinics, band clinics, for junior high school and high school here in Calgary. A few months ago, I was asked to go to this junior high to do a bass clinic. But they warned me. They said, look, this kid is a sweetheart, but he's going through tough times with his family, so he's shy, vulnerable. Just go easy on him. And I was like, okay, no problem. So I was waiting in the room, and all of a sudden, this little thing, grade 7, walks in with a funny kind of dress. It looked like a tuxedo at 12 years old, and a funny hat, very funny, tall hat. And I was like, oh, that's cute. And he was carrying this huge gig bag, and then very shy goes like, hi. He sits down, opens the gig bag, take the bass out. It's a beautiful crimson red vintage bass. Give it to him by his grandfather, who was a bass player. So we sit down, we start talking about music, and what kind of music you listen to, what kind of bass line would you like to play? And he was not really sure. So I showed him something. He was like, oh, that's cool. So I taught him how to do it. One tune, two tunes, or 2 or 3 bass lines, whatever. And at the end of the lesson, he was so happy. And he said, wow, I'm so happy. I just learned so much today. This is awesome. You must be a very intelligent person. And I said, so are you. So in that moment, we spent an hour and a half together just coaching him through very softly, very kindly. And he understood that he was in good company. And so at the end of the session, I said, wow, this session went great. You just made my day. And he said, no, you did it. So it's to me, it's very rewarding to have this gift, to be able to see through the people, especially the young players, and see how we can meet in the middle, how I can coach them and get the best out of them, not only musically speaking, but also to build a human being that will carry on later on with conviction. And so this is something that to me is a mission, is very important, especially for a community. If you have the possibility to help the community with a big buck of dollars, and you just throw it and walk away, what does it do for the community? Not much. Not on the long run. It's a short satisfaction. It's almost like a candy to feed your ego. To me is consistency. I work for a long term. To me is like give a little bit when you can or what you can, but keep giving My grandmother always told me, it's not a big bucket of water that will carve a stone. It's a little consistent drop that will do it. And I promised myself to be that little drop.